Edward Snowden was not built for silence. He was not born into power or privilege. There were no silver spoons or soft landings. Just a quiet young man raised in a military family, surrounded by the codes of loyalty, order, and obedience. For years, he followed the rules, studied systems, honed his craft, built trust in institutions designed to protect. But then he looked deeper, and what he saw changed everything. Snowden was a technician, a builder, a systems man. He worked in the shadows of America's most secretive agencies, first the CIA, then as a contractor for the NSA. Behind the firewalls and classified protocols, he discovered something staggering. The machinery of mass surveillance had outgrown its leash. The US government was not just spying on enemies, it was collecting data on everyone. Friends, citizens, entire nations, emails, calls, browsing histories, lives. It was all being vacuumed up and stored under the banner of security. Most people would have looked away, kept quiet, taken the paycheck, and played their part. But not Snowden. Because for Snowden, freedom meant more than comfort. Principle mattered more than position, and silence was not an option, not when the Constitution was being eroded behind closed doors. So he made a choice, not a dramatic one, not all at once. It began slowly, reading, confirming, asking questions no one wanted asked. And when it became clear that the system wouldn't correct itself, he acted. In 2013, Edward Snowden copied a trove of classified documents, proof of sweeping surveillance programs like PRISM, X-Keyscore, and Boundless Informant. Programs that recorded global communications, tracked metadata, and turned allies into suspects. He reached out to journalists, trusted only a few. Then, with a calm clarity few could summon, he detonated a political earthquake. The world changed overnight. The most powerful intelligence agency on Earth had been exposed. Not by a spy from a hostile state, but by one of its own. Snowden didn't run toward applause. He ran from retaliation. Within hours of revealing his identity, he was branded a traitor by officials and a hero by others. He knew what he had triggered. He knew the full weight of what was coming. And still, he never flinched. Stranded in legal limbo, hunted by the US government, Snowden spent weeks in a Moscow airport, then years in exile, alone, stateless, but never silent. Because Snowden hadn't just exposed a scandal. He had torn the veil off a future taking shape in real time. A world where private lives became open files, where convenience disguised surveillance, where companies like Palantir partnered with governments to track, profile, and predict, where billionaires with defense contracts used technology to shape the flow of public perception. Years after the leaks, Snowden's warnings came back with sharper teeth. In 2025, Elon Musk was tapped by the Trump administration to head the so-called DOGE initiative, the Department of Government Efficiency. Officially, it was about streamlining bureaucracy. But behind the scenes, critics accused Musk of attempting to gain unprecedented access to sensitive government databases, citizen health records, tax histories, agency intel. With his control over infrastructure like Starlink, Tesla AI, and defense-linked platforms, the boundaries between state surveillance and corporate dominance blurred. It wasn't just government watching anymore. It was private empires, sanctioned by power, using efficiency as cover. Snowden had warned of this convergence a decade earlier. His stand wasn't just about 2013. It was about 2025 and beyond. His exile became more than a sentence. It became a forge. He could have hidden. He could have stayed anonymous, vanishing into the data stream. But he chose visibility. He gave speeches, wrote essays, published a memoir. He gave the world context, not just content. He helped people understand not only what surveillance looked like, but what it meant for the human spirit. His life became a daily act of resistance. No country, no protection, no home. Just a man with a laptop, a voice, and unshakable clarity. He carried no weapon, commanded no army. But few men in the 21st century have stood so directly against empire. Snowden's strength is not brute force. It is moral endurance. He did not seek martyrdom. He simply refused to live a lie. When the walls closed in, he didn't fold. He sharpened his message. When the media cycle moved on, he didn't fade. He wrote more. He organized. He rebuilt himself not as a fugitive, but as a beacon. He remains targeted, misunderstood, polarizing, but never broken. Because Snowden's battle was never about politics. It was about principle. His decision came not from ego, but from conscience. From the idea that freedom is not a luxury, it's a discipline. that rights are not given, they are defended, often by one person standing alone. In the Spartan mindset, strength is not just physical, it is mental, ethical. It is the refusal to kneel to comfort when the truth demands pain. Snowden embodies that code. He understood the cost, and he paid it in full. No medals, no warm welcome home. Just a life sacrificed for the chance that others might wake up. His story is a reminder that in a world built on compliance, defiance can be an act of service. That sometimes the most dangerous weapon is a voice. And that character is forged not in ease, but in exile. Snowden stood up to a system that believed it could not be challenged. And he did it alone. That is the Spartan mindset. Order the Spartan mindset today and embark on your journey toward becoming the leader your world needs. Let your struggles forge you into a warrior of character and resolve. The Spartan mindset provides a comprehensive and actionable guide to personal development and resilience. Available now for just $19.99. Purchase your copy from the links in the description box below and on this channel's homepage, because your future begins with the right mindset. The Spartan mindset.